The transport ship shook as it docked. Sheloran pressed her face against the small window and looked out at New Sol Station. Her breath caught in her throat. The station was huge. Much bigger than anything she had seen before, metal arms stretched out like a star. Ships of all sizes flew in and out. Some were small human fighters, others were massive cargo ships. A few looked like alien designs she did not know. Everything moved in perfect order, but it looked wild and crazy to her eyes. Sheloran touched the old datapad in her bag. It held all her engineering records. Her whole life was on that device. Everything else was gone. Her home planet was at war. Her family was scattered. She was alone. The airlock opened with a loud hiss. Other passengers pushed past her. Most, were humans. A few were aliens like herself. But none were Villani. She might be the only one of her kind on this station. "Move along, please," said a voice. Sheloran looked up. A human male stood near the door. He wore a blue uniform with patches on his arms. His hair was black and cut short. His face looked tired but not mean. Sheloran walked slowly into the station. The sounds hit her first. Humans talking and laughing. Machine noises, announcements in different languages. On her home world, public spaces were quiet. People spoke in whispers. Here, everyone seemed to make noise without fear. The air smelled different too. Not bad, just strange. Like metal and food and something else she could not name. The lights were bright but warm. Not the cold white lights of Confederacy stations. People moved everywhere. Humans walked fast, carrying boxes and talking into communication devices. Some wore work clothes. Others wore fancy suits. Children ran between the adults, playing games. On Villani worlds, children stayed quiet and walked behind. "Their parents? First time here?" asked a voice behind her. Sheloran turned around. A human female stood there. She was shorter than Sheloran and had kind eyes. Her uniform was different from the male at the door. It had green patches instead of blue. "Yes," Sheloran said. Her English was good, but she still had an accent. "I am new. I can tell," the human said with a smile. "I'm Yuna. I work in immigration. Are you here to stay or just visiting?" Sheloran's heart started beating faster. She had two hearts like all Villani. Both were racing now. This was the moment she had been dreading. "I am seeking ... asylum," she said quietly. Yuna's face became more serious, but not angry. "Okay, that's fine. We'll take care of you." "Do you have your papers?" Sheloran pulled out her documents. They were printed on real paper, not digital files. Her government had not trusted refugees with electronic records. The papers were wrinkled and some had water stains. Yuna looked at them carefully. She did not throw them away or laugh. She read each page. "You're an engineer," she said. "Level 7 certification. That's impressive. You ... You can read Villani?" "Text," Sheloran asked. "A little. We get a lot of refugees from your system. I learned some of your language." Yuna smiled again. "Come on. Let's get you processed. Then we'll find you a place to stay." They walked through the busy corridors. Sheloran saw something that made her stop. A group of humans and aliens were working together on a broken machine. A human male was taking orders from an alien female. She had never seen that before. In Confederacy space, aliens always took orders from other aliens. Humans were considered too primitive to lead. "Something wrong?" Yuna asked. "The human. He listens to the alien," Sheloran said. Yuna looked confused. For a moment, then she understood. "Oh, that's Jiho. He's one of our engineers. The alien is Dr. Zeta. She's the department head. Jiho doesn't mind taking orders from her. She's really smart." This made no sense to Sheloran. Humans were supposed to be stubborn and proud. They were supposed to fight all the time? That's what she had been taught. They reached a small office. Yuna sat behind a desk and pointed to a chair. Sheloran sat down carefully. The chair was soft and comfortable. Even the furniture here was different. "Now," Yuna said, "tell me what happened." Sheloran told her story. About the war on her planet. About losing her job because she questioned orders. About her family disappearing in the chaos. About sleeping in refugee camps for months. Yuna listened to everything. She did not interrupt or look bored. I'm sorry, Yuna said when Sheloran finished. That sounds really hard. Sheloran was surprised. You ... you believe me? Why wouldn't I? Because I am alien. Because my people think humans are ... Sheloran stopped. She did not want to be rude. Think humans are what? Yuna asked gently. Primitive, violent, untrustworthy. Sheloran looked down at her hands. I was taught these things. Yuna was quiet for a moment, then she laughed. Not a mean laugh, but a warm one. Well, you'll have to decide for yourself if that's true. But I hope you'll give us a chance. She typed on her computer for several minutes, then she printed out new papers. Here's your temporary resident permit. It's good for 6 months. During that time, you can work and live here freely. If you want to stay longer, we can talk about permanent status. Sheloran stared at the papers. That's all? Well, we'll need to find you a place to live and maybe a job. Do you want to keep working as an engineer? You would let me? Even though I am refugee? If you're qualified, sure. We need good engineers, Yuna stood up. Come on. Let's go talk to Minho. He runs the engineering department. He might have something for you. As they walked through the station, Sheloran's mind raced. Nothing was happening the way she expected. She had prepared herself for suspicion, for being given the worst jobs, for being treated like a burden. Instead, these humans were helping her like she was already one of them. Maybe, she thought, everything she had been taught about humans was wrong. The question was, what else had she been wrong about? Sheloran's first day of work started early, too early. The human called Minho had told her to be at Engineering Bay 7 at 0600 hours. On her home world, important people never started work before 0900. Only servants and workers got up early, but here she was, walking through empty corridors at dawn. The station felt different when it was quiet. Peaceful, almost. Emergency lights cast long shadows on the walls. She found Bay 7 easily. The door was already open. Inside, she heard voices and the sound of tools. Someone was already working. You must be Sheloran, said a voice. A human male looked up from a control panel. He was older than her, maybe 40 years in human age. His hair had some gray in it. His hands were dirty from work. I'm Jiho. Minho said you'd be working with me. Sheloran bowed slightly. It was proper manners among her people. Yes, sir, I am ready to work. Jiho looked confused. Sir? Just call me Jiho. We don't do formal titles here unless someone's really important. He wiped his hands on a cloth. And don't bow. We shake hands. He held out his hand. Sheloran had seen humans do this before, but never to her. She took his hand carefully. His grip was firm but not painful. So you're an engineer? Jiho said. Level 7, right? That's good. We can use someone with your skills. What would you like me to do? Sheloran asked. She expected him to give her simple tasks, maybe cleaning or organizing tools. That's how new workers were treated in Confederacy space. Instead, Jiho handed her a diagnostic tablet. We're upgrading the power grid in Section C. I need you to check all the connections and make sure they're properly calibrated. Think you can handle that? Sheloran stared at the tablet. This was real engineering work, important work. You trust me with this? Why wouldn't I? You have the training. You know what you're doing? Jiho was already moving to another workstation. If you have questions, just ask. Otherwise, work at your own pace. For the next 2 hours, Sheloran worked quietly. The job was complex but not impossible. She found 3 connection errors and fixed them. She also noticed a design flaw that could cause problems later. When she finished, she found Jiho working with 2 other humans. One was a young woman with bright eyes. The other was an older man with thick arms. This is Hannah, Jiho said, pointing to the woman. She's been here 6 months. Still learning, but she's smart. And I'm Quan, said the older man. I run maintenance. For this section, both humans nodded at her in a friendly way. No bowing, no formal words, just simple respect. I finished the diagnostic, Sheloran said. I found some problems. Good, Jiho said. Show me. Sheloran explained what she had found. She also mentioned the design flaw. Jiho listened carefully, so did Hana and Quan. You're right about the design problem, Quan said. I've been worried about that for weeks, but I'm just maintenance. Nobody listens to me about engineering stuff. That's stupid, Hana said. You know these systems better than anyone. Sheloran was shocked. Hana had just called a system stupid. In Confederacy space, workers never criticized anything. They just followed orders. Hana's right, Jiho said. We should fix that design flaw. Sheloran, can you work with figure out a solution? Me? Sheloran asked, but I am new. I am just probationary worker. So, you found the problem? You should help fix it. For the rest of the morning, Sheloran worked with Quan. He knew every pipe and wire in the station. She knew engineering theory. Together, they designed a better system. Then something happened that changed everything. Red lights started flashing. An alarm rang through the station. A voice spoke over the communication system. Emergency and life support section 3, all available. Personnel report immediately. Jiho stood up fast. That's bad. Section 3 handles air recycling for the civilian areas. What should I do? Sheloran asked. Come with us, Jiho said. We need all the help we can get. They ran through the corridors. Other people were running too. Not just engineers. Sheloran saw maintenance workers, security guards, even people in business clothes. Everyone was heading toward Section 3. The life support area was chaos. Machines were making loud noises. Steam was coming from broken pipes. The air smelled like chemicals. A woman in a supervisor uniform was giving orders. I need the main recycler shut down now. Someone check the backup systems. And get me a repair team on the oxygen filters. That's Dr. Kim, Hana whispered to Sheloran. She runs the whole life support department. Sheloran watched in amazement as humans organized themselves. No one asked for permission. No one waited for official orders. They just started working. Jiho went straight to a control panel. Quan crawled under a machine to check pipes. Hana started testing circuits. Even people who didn't work in engineering were helping. They carried tools, moved equipment, and cleared pathways. You, Dr. Kim pointed at Sheloran. Can you read these? Diagnostic readings? Sheloran looked at the screen. The data was complex, but she understood it. The primary filter is blocked. Pressure is building in lines 7 through 12. Can we bypass it? Sheloran studied the system layout. Yes, but we need to reroute through the secondary system. It will take time. How much time? 4 hours, maybe 5? Dr. Kim looked worried. We don't have that long. The air will get dangerous in 2 hours. Wait. Quan called from under the machine. What if we use the emergency vents? We could bypass the whole filter system temporarily. That's not in the manual, someone said. Forget the manual, Dr. Kim said. Will it work? Quan and Sheloran looked at each other. Then they looked at the system diagrams. It might, Sheloran said slowly. But we would need to modify the pressure regulators. Do it, Dr. Kim said. For the next hour, Sheloran worked harder than she ever had before. She crawled through tight spaces, rewired control systems, and calculated pressure equations in her head. Humans worked beside her, following her instructions without question. They trusted her, a refugee, an alien. Someone they had just met. When the emergency was over, the air was clean again. People were safe. Dr. Kim thanked everyone personally. She shook Sheloran's hand and said, Good work, really good work. As they walked back to their bay, Jiho smiled at her. Not bad for your first day. This is normal? Sheloran asked. Humans always work like this. Like what? Together. Without orders, trusting strangers. Jiho thought about it. I guess so. When something needs to be done, we do it. Doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Sheloran was quiet for a long time. Everything she had been taught about humans was wrong. They weren't primitive. They weren't selfish. They were something else entirely, something better. 3 weeks after the life support emergency, Sheloran got a message on her datapad. It was from Dr. Kim, the woman who had run the emergency response. The message was short, Please come to Research Lab 12. We have an offer for you. Sheloran had never been to the research section before. It was in the secure part of the station. She had to show her ID 3 times just to get there. The corridors were cleaner here. Quieter, too. Scientists walked around carrying tablets and talking in low voices. Lab 12 was behind a heavy door marked with warning signs. A human male in a security uniform stood outside. He was young with serious eyes. "You must be Sheloran," he said. Hi, I handle security for the special projects." He scanned her ID with a small device. Dr. Kim is waiting inside. The lab was huge. Machines hummed quietly along the walls. In the center was a large table covered with star charts and technical drawings. Several people stood around it. Some were human. Others were clearly alien. "Sheloran," Dr. Kim waved her over. "Thank you for coming. I want you to meet Dr. Sora Kim." She pointed to a woman with long black hair and bright eyes. No relation, by the way. Kim is a common name. Dr. Sora Kim smiled and offered her hand. "I've heard about your work during the emergency." "Very impressive. How would you like to join our research team?" "Research team?" Sheloran asked. "We're working on a new type of faster-than-light communication system," Dr. Sora explained. "It could let ships talk to each other instantly across the galaxy, no more waiting months for messages." Sheloran's heart started beating faster. This was advanced technology. The kind that could change everything. "But I'm just maintenance engineer. I am refugee." "You're a level 7 engineer who solved a life support crisis," said another voice. A human woman with kind eyes approached them. "I'm Nari. I help different species work together here. And right now, we need someone with your skills." Dr. Sora led Sheloran around the lab. She introduced her to the team members. There was Jorik, a tall blue alien from the Centauri system. His species was known for their mathematical abilities. There was Dr. Vex, a small gray alien whose people were master computer programmers. And there was Thane, a reptilian alien whose species had the best quantum physicists in the galaxy. "Each species brings something special," Dr. Sora explained. "But we're missing practical engineering knowledge. Someone who can take our ideas and make them actually work." They showed Sheloran their plans. The communication system was brilliant but complex. It would use quantum entanglement to send messages instantly across space. The theory was solid. The math was perfect. But the actual building part was incomplete. "This is amazing," Sheloran said, studying the designs. "But there are some problems with the power requirements." "We know," said Jorik. His voice was deep and musical. "My people have tried to solve this for years." "What about using cascade amplifiers?" Sheloran suggested. The aliens looked confused. "What are those?" asked Dr. Vex. "It's a human invention," said Dr. Sora. "We use them in our ship engines." Jorik made a dismissive sound. "Human technology is too simple for this project. We need sophisticated solutions." Sheloran felt anger rise in her chest. Simple? Human technology saved this station 3 weeks ago. It saved thousands of lives. "That was basic maintenance," Than said. His voice was cold. "This is advanced physics." "Dr. Sora," Sheloran said, "can you show them the cascade amplifier design?" Dr. Sora pulled up the technical drawings on a large screen. The alien scientists studied them carefully. Sheloran watched their faces change from dismissive to confused, to impressed. This could actually work," Dr. Vex said slowly. "It's elegant," Jorik admitted. "Simple but elegant." "Of course it works," Sheloran said. "Humans may not have the best computers or the strongest ships, but they make things that actually function in the real world." Over the next few days, Sheloran worked with the team to redesign their communication system. Every time they had a problem, the humans found practical solutions. When the quantum matrix was too unstable, a human engineer suggested using micro-adjustments. When the power consumption was too high, another human recommended efficiency improvements, but each time the alien scientists argued they wanted complex solutions. They thought human ideas were beneath them. "Why do you always doubt them?" Sheloran finally asked during one meeting. Doubt who? Thane asked. The humans. Every time they suggest something, you look for reasons why it won't work. But their ideas always work. We are just being careful, Jorek said. No, Sheloran replied. You are being prejudiced. Just like my people taught me to be. The room became very quiet. Dr. Sora looked surprised. Nari smiled slightly. My people told me humans were primitive, Sheloran continued. They said humans were violent and stupid, but I have been here for weeks now. I have worked with them. They are not primitive. They are practical. They don't waste time on complicated solutions when simple ones work better. But surely, Dr. Vex started to say. No, Sheloran interrupted. Look at the facts. This station runs better than any Confederacy facility. Human ships are more reliable than ours. Human society is more fair than ours. Maybe it's time we stopped calling them primitive and started learning from them. The alien scientists looked uncomfortable. They were not used to being challenged, especially by someone defending humans. She has a point, Dr. Sora said quietly. We've been working on this project for 2 years. In 3 weeks with human methods, we've made more progress than ever before. That evening, Sheloran was eating dinner in the station cafeteria when Hyan sat down beside her. That was brave, he said. Standing up to the science team like that? It was just the truth, Sheloran replied. Maybe, but truth isn't always easy to say. Hyan looked serious. By the way, we got word that a Confederacy inspection team is coming to the station next week. Sheloran's blood went cold. Inspection team? They say it's routine. But they specifically asked about refugee populations. Hyan leaned closer. Your former supervisor is leading the team. Someone named Veltar. Sheloran dropped her fork. Veltar was here, the same person who had fired her for questioning orders. The same person who had denied her family evacuation permits. The same person who had called her a troublemaker and a traitor. What do they want? She asked. We don't know yet. But Nari thinks it has something to do with the research project. Word about our FTL communication system has spread. Sheloran felt sick. She had finally found a place where she belonged, where her skills were valued, where she was treated as an equal, and now her past was coming to destroy it all. Don't worry, Hyan said. We won't let them hurt you. That's a promise, but Sheloran knew Veltar. When he wanted something, he always got it. As she had a terrible feeling she knew exactly what he wanted. Her. The Confederacy ship arrived on a Tuesday morning. Sheloran was in Lab 12 working on power calculations when Hyan came to find her. They're here, he said quietly. 3 ships. Full diplomatic escort. Sheloran's hands started shaking. She put down her tools and took a deep breath. How long do I have? They're requesting a meeting with you in 2 hours. Conference room 8 in the diplomatic section. Dr. Sora looked up from her work. Do you want someone to come with you? Thank you, but no. This is something I must face alone. But as Sheloran walked to the diplomatic section, she realized she wasn't really alone. Humans nodded to her in the corridors. Some smiled. Others just gave her respectful looks. After weeks of working together, she was part of their community now. Conference room 8 was cold and formal, very different from the warm spaces humans preferred. 3 Villani sat at the long table. Sheloran recognized all of them. Veltar sat in the center. He was older now, with more gray in his crest feathers. But his eyes were the same, hard and calculating. To his left sat Morden, a security officer. To his right was Kessara, an intelligence specialist. Sheloran, Veltar said without standing. You look different. Hello, Veltar. Sheloran sat across from them. She did not bow. She did not use his formal title, just like the humans had taught her. That is Senior Administrator Veltar to you, Morden snapped. Not anymore, Sheloran replied. I am not under Confederacy authority here. Veltar raised a hand to silence Morden. Indeed, you have found sanctuary with the humans. How interesting. It is not sanctuary, it is home. Home? Kessara laughed. Among aliens? Among primitives? Sheloran felt anger rise in her chest, but she stayed calm. What do you want? Straight to business. I like that. Veltar opened the folder. We want to offer you something. Full restoration of citizenship. A promotion to level 9 engineer. Assignment to the Core Worlds Research Facility. Very prestigious, Sheloran stared at him. Level 9 was almost impossible to achieve. It would make her one of the most important engineers in Confederacy space. What is the cost? Cost? Veltar pretended to look confused. There is no cost. We simply recognize your talents. Nothing is free with you. What do you really want? Veltar's friendly mask slipped away. Information about human research projects. Specifically, their faster-than-light communication work. You want me to spy? We prefer the term intelligence gathering, Kasara said. The humans are developing dangerous technology. Technology that could upset the balance of power in the galaxy. Dangerous? Sheloran almost laughed. They want to help people communicate better. How is that dangerous? Think, Sheloran, Veltar said. Instant communication across space means instant military coordination. Human ships could attack anywhere without warning. They could organize rebellions in Confederacy space. That is not what they are doing. How do you know? Have they told you everything? Do they really trust you, or are they using you? The questions hit Sheloran like physical blows. Did the humans really trust her, or were they just being polite? Maybe they were keeping secrets from her. Maybe she was being naive. I can see you are thinking, Veltar said smoothly. Good, you were always smart. Too smart to believe human lies. What lies? That they treat all species equally, that they value merit over background, that they care about you as a person? Veltar leaned forward. Tell me, Sheloran, do they give you access to their most secret projects? Do they invite you to their private meetings? Or do they smile and give you simple tasks while keeping the important work for themselves? Sheloran thought about it. She did have security clearance for the FTL project, but there were other projects she knew nothing about. Higher security levels she couldn't access. Maybe Veltar was right. Maybe the humans were just using her. I need time to think, she said. Of course, but not too much time. We leave in 3 days. Veltar stood up. Remember, Sheloran, these humans are not your people. When trouble comes, they will protect themselves first. You will always be an outsider to them. That evening, Sheloran sat alone in her quarters. The walls felt like they were closing in. Everything Veltar had said kept repeating in her mind. Were the humans really using her? Had she been stupid to trust them? A soft knock on her door interrupted her thoughts. Come in, she called. To her surprise, Dr. Sora entered. She looked worried. Hyan told me about your meeting. Are you okay? I do not know. Dr. Sora sat down in the chair across from her. Want to talk about it? Sheloran looked at her carefully. This could be a test. Maybe Dr. Sora was here to see if she would reveal Confederacy secrets. They offered me a job. A very good job. I see. And you're thinking about taking it? Maybe, they said. They said you do not really trust me. I'm outsider here. Dr. Sora was quiet for a long moment. They might be right about some things. There are projects you can't access. Meetings you can't attend. Security levels above yours. Sheloran's heart sank, so it was true. But, Dr. Sora continued, it's not because you're alien. It's because you've only been here a month. Jiho doesn't have access to those projects either. Neither does Hana. Security clearance takes time to build. Really? Really? And honestly? Some of those secret projects are just boring administrative stuff. Budget meetings, personnel reviews, nothing exciting. Dr. Sora leaned forward. But here's the important thing, Sheloran. Whatever you decide, we'll support you. If you want to go back to Confederacy space, we'll help you pack. If you want to stay, we'll help you build a career here. The choice is yours. After Dr. Sora left, Sheloran sat in the dark thinking. Then she heard voices in the corridor outside her room. She pressed her ear to the door to listen. Worried about her, someone was saying. It sounded like Jiho. The Confederacy people are putting pressure on her, said another voice. Hyan, what can we do? Asked a third voice, Hana. Nothing, Jeho replied. We have to let her choose, even if it hurts us. But she's part of our team now, Hana said. Which is exactly why we can't pressure her, Hyan said. She has to know this is her decision, not ours. Sheloran stepped back from the door. They were talking about protecting her freedom to choose, even though it might cost them their research data. Even though it might hurt their project. In that moment, she understood the difference between humans and her own people. The Confederacy wanted to control her. They offered rewards and threatened punishments to make her obey, but the humans, they trusted her to make her own choice. Even if that choice went against them. The next morning, Sheloran requested a meeting with Veltar. When they met in the same conference room, she had her answer ready. I have decided, she said before he could speak. Excellent. When can you start gathering information? I cannot. I will not spy on the humans. Veltar's face darkened. You are making a mistake, Sheloran. No, for the first time in my life I am making the right choice. She stood up. And I'm reporting your espionage attempt to station security. You would betray your own species for aliens? I am not betraying anyone. I am choosing truth over lies, honor over convenience. Freedom over control. Sheloran walked toward the door. The humans are not perfect, but they are honest. That is more than I can say for the Confederacy. As she left the room, Sheloran felt something she had never experienced before. She felt free. 2 days after the Confederacy ships left, Sheloran received an official message. It was from the Terran Republic Immigration Office. Her application for full citizenship had been approved. She stared at the document on her datapad. At the bottom was a small line that made her hearts race. Congratulations, Citizen Sheloran. Welcome home, welcome home. She had never seen those words before. On her birth world, you belonged to a clan, a caste, a work unit, but you were never welcomed anywhere. You just existed where you were assigned. Good news? Asked a voice behind. Her Sheloran turned around. A human woman with kind eyes and graying hair stood in the corridor. She wore civilian clothes instead of a uniform. I am sorry, I do not know you, Sheloran said. On Day, I study how different species adapt to human society. I heard about your citizenship approval. Congratulations. Thank you, but you study this? Why? Because it's fascinating, Day said with a smile. Every species brings something new. We learn from each other. For example, your people are excellent at long-term planning. Humans are good at quick adaptation. Together we can do things neither could do alone. That afternoon, Sheloran went to the citizenship ceremony. It was held in a large room with windows looking out at the stars. 23 beings from different worlds were becoming Terran citizens that day. The ceremony was simple. No complicated rituals, no loyalty oaths to rulers. Just a promise to follow Republic laws and help make the community better. When it was over, humans and aliens mingled together. Families celebrated, children played, food was shared freely. Sheloran watched it all, trying to understand what made humans so different. First citizenship ceremony? Asked an older human man. He had kind eyes and hands that looked like they had worked hard for many years. Yes, I am. I was Sheloran. Now I am Citizen Sheloran, I suppose. The man laughed warmly. Just Sheloran. Is fine. I'm Sung. I run a restaurant on level 5. You should come by sometime. I make the best noodles on the station. Over the following weeks, Sheloran did visit Sung's restaurant. It became her favorite place to think. Sung would bring her tea and listen to her talk about work, about her fears, about her hopes for the future. He never gave advice unless she asked. He just listened. You know, he said one evening, I came here as a refugee too, 40 years ago. You did? From where? Earth. There was a war in my country. I lost everything. Sung poured more tea. I was angry at the world. Angry at myself. I thought humans were terrible creatures who only brought pain. What changed your mind? Time, work, people who gave me chances when I didn't deserve them. He smiled. Humans aren't perfect, Sheloran. We make mistakes, we fight, we fail, but we also learn. We grow, we become better than we were. At the research lab, work on the FTL communication system was going well. Too well, in fact. Other alien scientists from across the galaxy were asking questions. Some wanted to visit the station to see the project. "We're getting attention," Dr. Sora said during a team meeting. "The Altarian Science Council wants to send observers. The Rigel Consortium is offering funding. Even the Confederacy is asking for information." "Is that bad?" Hannah asked. "Not bad, just complicated. Everyone wants to know how we're making such fast progress." Sheloran knew the answer. It was because they worked differently here. Instead of each species working separately and competing, they shared everything. Human practicality, Centauri mathematics, Vex computer skills, and Thane quantum physics. All combined into something greater. But there was still one major problem. The communication array worked, but only over short distances. To make it work across the galaxy, they needed a breakthrough. The answer came from an unexpected place. Sheloran was eating lunch with Jiho when she mentioned her childhood on Vellani Prime. "We had these crystal formations in our mountains," she said. "They would sing when the wind blew through them. Different crystals made different sounds." "Sing?" Jiho looked interested. "Like actual musical notes?" "Yes, my grandmother said they were resonating at specific frequencies." Jiho sat up straight. "Resonating frequencies. Sheloran, what if we could use that principle with quantum crystals?" They rushed back to the lab and started calculating. If they could make quantum-entangled crystals resonate at specific frequencies, they could amplify the communication signal across vast distances. The idea was brilliant. It combined Vellani knowledge of crystal resonance with human engineering and alien quantum physics. No single species could have thought of it alone. For 3 days, the entire team worked on the new design. They barely slept. They ate meals at their workstations. Even aliens from other projects came to help. Dr. Sora watched them work with amazement. "I've never seen anything like this," she told Nari. "Everyone is contributing equally. No one is trying to take credit or protect their ideas." "That's the human way," Nari replied. "Success belongs to everyone, failure too." On the 4th day, they tested the new communication array. Sheloran held her breath as Dr. Sora activated the system. Lights flickered across the control panels. Numbers scrolled on the screens. Then a voice came through the speakers, clear and strong. "New Sol Station. This is Captain Park on the exploration ship Horizon. We are receiving your signal perfectly. Distance 47 light-years. This is incredible. Over." The lab erupted in cheers. Humans hugged each other. Aliens made their species celebration sounds. Sheloran found herself crying with joy that they had done it. They had created instant communication across impossible distances. But more than that, they had proved something important. When different species worked together as equals, when they shared their knowledge freely, they could achieve miracles. Within hours, news of their success spread across the galaxy. Scientists everywhere wanted to know how they had solved the distance problem. Governments offered massive contracts for the technology. The most surprising response came from the Confederacy. They sent a formal message requesting a scientific exchange program with the Terran Republic. "They want to learn from us," Dr. Sora said with amazement. "The mighty Confederacy wants to learn from humans." That evening, Sheloran stood on the observation deck looking out at the stars. So many worlds out there. So many species. For centuries, they had competed and fought and kept secrets from each other. But maybe things were changing. Maybe the human way, cooperation, trust, shared success, was spreading. A soft sound made her turn around. Luna, a human artist who painted beautiful pictures of alien worlds, was setting up her easel nearby. "Mind if I paint here?" Luna asked. "The light is perfect right now." "Of course not. What are you painting?" "A new future," Luna said simply. "A galaxy where everyone works together." Sheloran smiled. For the first time since leaving her homeworld, she believed that future was possible, and she was going to help build it. 6 months later, Sheloran stood in the same docking bay where her journey had begun. But this time, she was not arriving. She was welcoming others. A refugee transport had just docked. Families with scared faces walked slowly into the station. Their clothes were torn, their belongings fit in small bags. They looked around with wide eyes, just like Sheloran had months ago. "First time doing this?" asked a familiar voice. Sheloran turned to see Yuna approaching. The immigration officer looked the same as always, kind eyes and a warm smile. "Yes, Minho asked me to help with the new arrivals. He said I might understand them better. He's right." "You've walked in their shoes?" Yuna pointed to a young alien, female, who stood apart from the others. "That one looks like she needs help." The alien was clearly from the Zephyrian system. She had pale blue skin and silver hair. Her species was known for being proud and independent. She stood alone, clutching a datapad to her chest, trying to look brave. Sheloran walked over slowly. "Hello, I am Sheloran. I work here at the station." The young Zephyrian looked up suspiciously. "I am Myra. I do not need charity." The words were exactly what Sheloran had said 6 months ago. The same pride, the same fear, the same stubborn independence. "Good," Sheloran said, "because I am not offering charity. I am offering opportunity." "What kind of opportunity?" "What is your profession?" Myra lifted her chin. "I am an engineer. Level 6 certification. I design the water systems for 3 colony worlds." "Impressive. We always need good engineers here. You ... You would hire me, even though I am refugee?" Sheloran smiled. "Let me tell you about my first day here." As they walked through the station, Sheloran told Myra her story. About arriving with nothing, about expecting the worst from humans, about slowly learning that everything she had been taught was wrong. "The humans here judge you by what you can do, not where you come from," Sheloran explained. "It is strange at first, but it is also wonderful." They passed the engineering bay where Jiho was training 2 new technicians. One was human. The other was an alien Sheloran had never seen before. Both students were asking questions freely. Jiho answered each one with patience. "See," Sheloran said. "No hierarchy, no special treatment. Just people learning together." In the research lab, work continued on improving the FTL communication system. The success had brought funding and attention from across the galaxy, but it had also brought responsibility. Dr. Sora was meeting with a delegation from the Altarian Science Council. Through the glass walls, Sheloran could see aliens and humans working side by side on new projects. "The communication array we built is now being installed on stations throughout the galaxy," Sheloran told Myra. "It is changing how species talk to each other, making cooperation easier. And humans did this? Humans and aliens together. That is the human way. They make everyone part of the solution." They stopped at a large window overlooking the stations. Main hub, ships came and went constantly. The activity never stopped. But now Sheloran saw it differently than when she first arrived. This was not chaos. This was life, growth, progress. "I have something to show you," Sheloran said. She led Mara to a section of the station she had never seen before. New construction was happening everywhere. The station was expanding rapidly. "What is this?" Myra asked. "New Sol Station is becoming the first multi-species research center in the galaxy. Instead of each species working alone, we will all work together, sharing knowledge, sharing discoveries, sharing success." Aina, the diplomatic attach, was giving a tour to a group of alien dignitaries. "The Terran Republic believes that diversity makes us stronger," she was saying. "When different perspectives combine, we achieve things none of us could do alone." One of the dignitaries, a tall alien with golden skin, raised a hand. "But how do you maintain order? How do you prevent conflict between species?" "We don't prevent it," Aina replied. "We manage it. We talk through problems instead of fighting about them. We find solutions that work for everyone." Sheloran watched Myra's face as she listened. The young Zephyrian looked confused but interested. Just like Sheloran had been, that evening Sheloran sat in Sung's restaurant with Jiho Hana and several other friends. Both humans and aliens filled the tables around them. Everyone was talking and laughing together. "Remember when you first got here?" Hana asked. "You looked so scared." "I was scared," Sheloran admitted. I thought you would treat me badly because I was alien, and now? Jiho asked. Sheloran looked around the restaurant, at the mixed groups of beings sharing meals, at Tsung teaching a young alien how to make noodles, at children of different species playing together in the corner. Now I cannot imagine being anywhere else. Her datapad chimed with a message. It was from the Villani government, her own people. They were requesting a meeting to discuss scientific cooperation opportunities with the Terran Republic. Sheloran smiled. Even her own species was starting to change. The human way was spreading. Good news? Tsung asked, setting down a cup of tea. Very good news. My people want to learn from humans now. And what will you tell them? Sheloran thought carefully. I will tell them the truth, that humans are not perfect. They make mistakes. They argue sometimes. They fail at things. That does not sound like a good recommendation, Hannah laughed. But, Sheloran continued, they also do something my people never learned. They learn from their mistakes. They grow. Stronger from failure, they include everyone in their success. Later that night, Sheloran stood on the observation deck where she often came to think. The stars looked the same as always, but the space between them was different now. Communication arrays carried messages instantly across vast distances. Species that had never talked before were sharing ideas. The galaxy was becoming smaller, more connected, more united. A soft footstep made her turn. Myra stood nearby, looking uncertain. I wanted to thank you, the young Zephyrian said, for today, for helping me understand. What did you decide? I want to try. I want to work here. I want to see if what you said about humans is true. Sheloran remembered her first day, standing in this same place, scared and alone, wondering if she had made a terrible mistake. It will not be easy, she told Myra. You will have to change how you think about many things. You will have to accept help from people you once thought were beneath you. And if I do? Sheloran looked out at the stars again, at the ships carrying the communication technology to distant worlds, at the future they were all building together. If you do, you will discover something wonderful. You will find that home is not a place. It is not your birth world or your species or your family. Then what is it? Home is where people value you for who you are, where your efforts matter, where you can grow into something better than you were. Sheloran smiled. Home is where you belong. As they stood together looking out at the endless stars, Sheloran felt a deep sense of peace. She had traveled across the galaxy searching for survival. Instead, she had found something much more valuable. She had found her place in the universe, and tomorrow, she would help another lost soul find theirs. Just like the humans had helped her, the cycle would continue, one person at a time. One choice at a time, one act of kindness at a time. This was the human way. And now it was her way too. The stars shone brighter than ever before.